Welcome to our podcast, Channel and Wholesale Intro, August 6th, 2013. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Matt Clark with UNSi. Today we're going to go over a few options on getting set up with your MasterStream quoting system. We have a couple sections to go through. First we're going to go through preferences. Next we're going to go through your profile. Then we're going to go through your company profile as the administrator, and lastly we'll go through how to set up users. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at preferences. You'll see it here. Under preferences you have a couple of options at the top. The first one is home and landing pages. You can set your forward looking and backward looking days that the system will report to you on the home page. This is important if you're using our system to report to you contracts coming out of renewal. If you use your billing system, this should not apply to you. The next and probably most important one is the RFQ Manager tab. When you click on that tab, it shows you the default date range. Make sure it's no less than 60 days. In fact, I would even recommend making it 90 days. As far as how many RFQs it shows per page, that's clearly a preference that you'll choose. Hit your save button to save those changes. Next tab is Quote Ready. This is an interesting one when you are ready to send a proposal from the system, and we'll get to that in future trainings. This is the language that our system will embed in the email that's sent. So just review the language. It comes with some default language and it puts your signature. Just make sure your signature information is correct and hit update, and this will be included when you send proposals. Next section is Doc Manager. Similar to the Quote Ready, when you send contracts, it's going to use this default language to embed into the email. So just double check the language. You can update it as you see fit. Make sure the signature is correct. Next one is Menu Styles. You'll notice you have two options. You can have drop down boxes in the system, or you can do a predictive text box. Your choice. And lastly, Notifications. Some people like to be notified when their proposals have been read. I have this set to yes to indicate that. Some people don't. There is a manual way you can see if proposals have been read. We can show you that in future training. But as a general notification rule, you can choose yes or no here. I'm going to put no on mine and update it. And that's the preference section. Next, we're going to go through the My Profile section, located right here. Under My Profile, it is important for you to just simply put your correct contact information. If you have incorrect information here, or you feel like you want to hide your email from your client, you can always do that later before you send a proposal or send a contract, but I would recommend you fill this information in to start. You can also, in this profile section, you can change your password. You're going to get a password from us to log in, but you can always change your password to the password of your choice. Fill that information in, and when you're done, hit update. Before you leave this page, just look at the top. Your agent ID is a unique code that we provide you. This is your agent ID with us on our system. It'll become relevant in future trainings. That is the My Profile section. The next section is the Company Profile section, located here. In the Company Profile section, this will be accessible via the administrator of the account. Most of you taking this training will be the initial administrator. If you are, you can put in your company information here. You can also upload your logo down at the bottom. And at the top, you can this button here, Show Logo, in the upper right hand corner of the proposals. You can check that or not check that, so it'll put your company logo in as well. When you're done with that, hit update, and that is Company Profile. The last section we're going to talk about is how to add users. So I'm just going to the user section, and you'll notice under My Agency I have one user, Bob Smith. As an administrator, you can add two types of users. You can add a sales manager or a rep, and I'll explain the difference. In the MasterStream vernacular, a sales manager is someone who's going to have additional employees underneath them, and that could be an internal employee to your agency. It could also be an external company that works with you. So I've added a sales manager Bob Smith, and I know that when I click on Bob Smith, the agent ID is my agent ID 01 and then 4 zeros. So when I add a sales manager, you'll notice the second one I add increments the second 2 digits by 1 digit, so it goes to 02. I can add a sales manager up to 99. So you can have up to 99 sales managers in your organization. And then subsequently, under each sales manager, you can have up to 9,999 reps. So it's very powerful. You can add all kinds of users at no additional cost, and then those users are firewalled. For example, any user underneath Bob Smith, any rep under Bob Smith, so if we added a rep 0001 underneath his sales manager status, that rep would only see their quotes and their information. They would not see Bob's. Bob would then be able to see any rep that he's added underneath him, so Bob could see any activity underneath him. For example, if we added a second sales manager, a 02, that second sales manager would not be able to see any of Bob's information or anyone from Bob's team. So everything's firewalled correctly within the system. So I'm going to show you, let's say as a administrator of this agency, you wanted to add other sales managers. It's easy, you hit that. You can add reps underneath yourself. You'll notice that 00 is the admin account, so you could add another rep underneath here. You could add the first one. But what if you want to add underneath Bob? What we do is we log in as Bob. So you're wondering, how do we log in as Bob? Let's click in onto Bob, and you can hit change password, and you see the user ID bsmith13, and you could change the password and let your your sales manager know what it is. I know what his password is, so I'm going to go log into bsmith13. So I'm going to log out here. I'm going to log back in as bsmith13. I'm the admin. So now I'm logged in as Bob Smith, and I'm going to go to users, and you can see there's no users for Bob Smith. I can add just reps. A sales manager can add reps. The administrator on the account can add users. So I'm going to add a rep. Mike Smith. I'm going to increment the account by 1 digit. Put in a phone number and an email. And hit save. I can change the password now if I want to by going in here and changing the password and updating it for Mike. So now Mike Smith is underneath Bob. I'm going to log back out, log back in as the administrator. And now under users, we have 2 users. We have Bob Smith and Mike Smith. You can see very quickly right here who they're assigned to. Mike Smith is assigned to Sales Manager 01, and he is the first rep within that hierarchy. And you can tell that Bob is the sales manager because he's all zeros and he's 01. So, very simple to add users, remove users. You can also go in here and deactivate him if he's no longer active and change password. Make sure you update every time you do that. So if you follow those steps to get your profile set up, that is the best way to get ready to roll on MasterStream. There'll be more training coming on how to generate new quotes and get information out of the system. But first steps first, make sure you run through the preferences, profile, company profile, and add your users, and then you'll be ready to go. Thanks, and have a great day.